This is actually quite an unveiling of the most sinister political maneuver going on. So this is quite an advanced political maneuver that we talk about a lot on the show. You see how they dismiss someone, like the examples we've given. You're extreme if you want to end this bad behavior straight away. So they get to use this overlay of extreme left and extreme right. Then they get to place an idea, not opening new coal projects, not giving gas away for free. That's an extreme position. Then they get to appeal to the Aussie punter who likes to be in the centre, who likes to just hear both sides, but they're not trained on what political theatre is going on right now. And the politician gets to say to the rational economist or the rational climate scientist or the rational whoever showing the evidence, they go, you're asking for something very extreme. We're going to be in the centre. This is quite the ultimate political maneuver that I'm seeing go on.
You know what's coming into my mind? It was the academic who media painted them as a protester when he ripped up the report. Remember from
they named him an activist.
Activist.
That
That's
was
what
to
they
do
did.
with the Woodside emissions wrecking
They're like,
Indigenous
he's an extreme
rock art.
activist. It's like, no, he's an academic who's actually read through the report and seen which parts you've pulled out of it. They painted him in the wrong light, didn't they?
No, they painted him in the right light because they were trying to diminish him. Even the word activist. What's the opposite of activist? Like in a democracy, why is someone
who does nothing, right?
Right, which is what they want us all to do. All right, so why is someone who is concerned enough about rock art to read a report and talk to journalists about it and talk to government about it, and then on hearing that the government has cherry-picked the data, be brave enough to rip up their report and say, this is what I think of your cherry-picked data? How come they can be dismissed as an activist? While someone who's getting paid $500,000 a year or $1 million a year to run the gas company is just a hard-working, job-creating captain of industry who wants to get the job done. What's the opposite of an activist? I don't know. But, it's
an
not
apathetic Australian? I don't know.
Someone who doesn't vote.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, for people listening, that's what really matters here.
It's a dirty word.
Well, the foreign CEO of a foreign mining company doesn't get a vote in Australia, but I do, and you do, and everyone listening probably does. So, of course, they want people to feel like, participating in things, writing a letter to the editor, going to a protest, whatever. Oh, what a pointless, silly, extreme thing to do. Why don't you sit on your hands and do nothing while we get, while we get your gas for free?
While we send in our army of lobbyists to Parliament House. This is actually quite an unveiling of the most sinister, political maneuver going on. It's quite the political theatre that when I see it, you map it out there, Richard, it is everyone's in on it and everyone's playing their part. Everyone's playing their role, all to give the appearance that the government of the day right now is doing the sensible thing. But it wouldn't be sensible if we didn't have the people being funded by astroturfing groups, sparking protest groups about, we have to give away gas for free because we need more investment and all that. That's the extreme position, right? And the government go, well, we're not exactly there. And then they can paint those lefty green hugging hippies as real extreme. And every politician has their role to play in this game. And Albo has come in with the ultimate solution, which is, hey, I'm just in the centre, whilst serving mostly the powerful interest groups, even at 70% or 50%, he's still doing that much of service to them and not us. And it's extreme for me to say, oi, Albo, work for me and not those bludgers. That's the extreme position, apparently.
Yeah, so I look spot on. And I think, radical centrism, the idea that the only solution is found, in the middle of the Labor and Liberal Party's current positions, radical centrism always serves the status quo. Radical centrism is just actually a way to kind of keep things the way they are by lifting the bar for what's required to change something. So, I promise you that when John Howard was Prime Minister and wanted to introduce work choices to radically reduce workers' rights, he didn't ring the union movement and say, is that okay with you? Because I really don't want to take a step forward unless we've got broad consensus here. Right? No chance. All right. So
He just did it.
He just did it. Right. Now, he was democratically
'Cause he had power.
elected and he had the power to act. He acted decisively. I didn't like his decision, right? But I respected his right to do it. It led to an election. You know, at the next election, he lost. We undid some of that, right? But to pretend that we can't make a big decision in Australia unless everyone's on board, well, A, what bullshit? B, $360 billion worth of subs didn't even go to cabinet, you know? So the idea that we can't make a big decision without everyone agreeing is ridiculous. But the main thing is that's just not why we set democracy up, okay? The whole point of Parliament House is to ventilate diverse views for people to hear what the options are, and then for whatever a majority of those parliamentarians want to do, that's what they crack on and do. And if they've got bad judgment and they crack on and do things that people hate, well, then they'll lose their seats, and that's not the end of the world, right? But the idea that they're elected to Parliament to make decisions on our behalf, but they won't make the decisions that we want them to make until the fossil fuel industry or until the gambling industry or until, you know, insert powerful group here. The idea that our elected representatives won't do what they think is right until powerful groups tell them it's okay, that's not democracy.
Because like those examples you gave, we can see the government drop more money than they've dropped on anything on giving it to the United States for submarines we're never going to get. They did that instantaneously. So for them to somehow turn around and tell me that's too complicated to not give our gas away for free, but whilst they get to pretend like we're just being careful in the transition and we're just taking everyone, like it's gaslighting to the highest degree. It feels like
figuratively.
Yeah,
and literally.
And this is my point. Like, you know, I like politicians, I like democracy, but while most people are a bit cynical about politicians, often people aren't nearly cynical enough. You know, these are clever people. Okay. These are people who've spent their life.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. So when they can choose to be decisive and pick a powerful opponent sometimes, but then say they can't do it some other time, well, you know, it's our job, and, you know, good on you guys for calling bullshit on this stuff. It's our job to step in and say, hang on, what's going on here? But when we're saying, hang on, what's going on here, I think it's really important that we always step back and think, so why are smart people doing this? Right? It's kind of like we often like, oh, politicians, you know, they're so cynical, but then we're like, oh, they're so stupid, they don't even understand. It's like, hang on, what if they do understand?
Can't have it both ways.
Right, exactly. Yeah. What if they do understand? And, you know, we actually have to take their politics a bit more seriously and say, hang on, I see what you're doing there, sunshine. You know, well played, but, you know, I call bullshit. And, you know, you can understand why busy people don't have time to stop and do that, but you'd think the entire National Press Gallery could, I don't know, maybe notice for us.